Okay, let's talk about the immigration reform that they are planning. To be fair, it has been a while since I talked about this kind of stuff on stream, and it actually directly affects me. I did make a short about one aspect of it, and so I thought this might be a good moment to address that. So what do you want to know about it? What do you want to talk about it? Chat, you can feel free to ask me questions about my thoughts or how things affect me, because I might miss out some things if I just keep on ranting. So there's lots of things that they changed. First of all, the default, not changed. They proposed the changes, which, I mean, considering the thumping majority that Labour have, are quite likely to come to fruition. It's just a matter of when, not if. So, first of all, they changed the default. They are going to change the default immigration period to 10 years rather than 5 years. So I assume that people don't know much about the immigration process in the UK, because I have lots of Brits in my chat, in my audience, and lots of born and bred ones that don't have to go through that. So if you want more details, go to the Evan Edinger video, because he's got like all the routes and all the details of what you need to do and how to do it. But most of the routes need 5 years for now, including mine. Mine is a special one, so I'll go into more detail later. So the default is going to become 10, which means you get a visa, you come here and do whatever you are allowed to do with the visa for 10 years, and then you can get settlement or indefinite leave to remain. That will be the default after they make these changes. Which, by the way, before this, we have a route called long residence, which means if you stay here for 10 years, no matter what you do, you're allowed to gain settlement. And that exists because, for example, if you're a student, if you study in the UK, that does not normally count towards your settlement. You have to work. For example, if you study here for 3 years and then start working afterwards, your 5 years only starts when you start working. Your 3 years in uni does not count. But if you happen to have studied here for ages, for example, you started here in secondary school and then university and then masters, and then you, I don't know, you do a doctorate, or you go to work for like 1 year, and you do not qualify for settlement through the normal work visa route yet, but you have been in the UK for 10 years, then you can get long residence and get settled anyway. So that was a thing. I don't know if that's going to be a thing now that the default is going to be 10 years. I don't know how that's going to affect that. As for the citizenship testing, there's no... I don't know. Let's not get there yet. Okay, the next thing is how I am personally affected by this. I just realized I need to charge my light again. Sorry. So my route is relatively unaffected. Okay, because they said the default is 10 years. For some specific circumstances, you get that reduced. For example, your commitment to the community, or whatever that is. I'm actually going to start volunteering at a deaf center next year, just to show my commitment, right? Now, I got to do a full-time job and pay taxes, pay sufficient taxes, and also volunteer. You know, I love myself some compulsory forced volunteering. That's amazing. Anyway, so you get reduced. But if you are on the British National Overseas, the Hong Kong visa route, it is reduced to 5 years. So time-wise, that does not change things for me. And what else do they change? They are raising the language level required, which is what I talked about in my short video. So it's going to be raised from B1 to B2. I don't know how much of this you already know, but I'm going to assume you know nothing. Okay, so it's raised from B1 to B2, which is a so-called A-level language level. I'm actually, as I said, I'm editing the video about the Welsh B2 exam right now, and looking back, doesn't feel as difficult as it felt when I was doing it. So that's one thing. So if you happen to have taken the exam, the B1 exam for the sake of your settlement, I'm sorry, you got to do that again because obviously they don't care. And also lots of people will have to practice their language more. Okay, specific for me, because I want to submit my Welsh certificate. So in theory, because I already have a B2 anyway, I should be fine. But in practice, it is still up in the air because back then during the Eisteddfod, I talked to, so I'm just recapping my short video. I talked to Qualifications Wales, and then they talked to like the Welsh Language Commissioner, and they all like discussed that with the Home Office. They were like ongoing. They said, oh, well, yeah, we've been talking about this for a while. We have been discussing how to fulfill the B1 requirement using Welsh. And that was inconclusive. I probably have to shoot them another email to see what is going on. Because if, again, I'm recapping my video about becoming a citizen without speaking English. If you want more details, see that. But TLDR is, there is a very detailed guideline for how to fulfill that requirement. They do say that explicitly you can fulfill it using English, Welsh, or Scottish Gaelic, but there is no detail. So in English, there is a list of exams you can do and what mark you need, what grade you need. Nothing mentioned about Welsh and Scottish Gaelic. That's why I was talking to them to hopefully get some clarity on whether I can simply shove my B2 certificate in their way and pass it. But now they're making it more stringent. So even if they were working on some sort of, I want to say manulep, some specification, they would have to do it again, or at least retool it. But I just assume they weren't doing anything because, you know, it's the UK government. They don't care unless they're forced to do something about it. That's one thing. Note to self, when I'm watching this video again, when I'm watching the stream, shoot them an email just to make sure they do something. So that's one thing. And the other change that does affect me is the income requirement. So you need to be making a certain amount of money because they want to make sure you pay a certain amount of tax. So that means, in theory, I have to be able to score an actual job. No, that's not even. The thing is, they say by the time you reach settlement, you will have made a certain amount of money per year for 3 years. I'm reaching that 5 years in like half a year's time, or in four months. Yeah, 4 months. So I unless I time travel back 3 years to start working a job and pay income tax, I don't know how I'm going to fulfill that. So that's also up in the air. What I assume is there will probably be a transitional period. Now, first of all, it will take some time for them to get the changes through Parliament. Don't know how fast that's going to be. Might take a couple of months. And by that time, I might have reached that stage already. So that would be the best case scenario. No problem at all. The second possibility is they might have a transitional period of a certain amount of time, because it doesn't make sense to ask me to have worked for 3 years by now. I can't go back, right? So that's the other thing. The third thing about the citizenship test is that they have not said anything. So presumably nothing changes, okay? And this might be the good time to talk about my my application for the test, or my request to book it, because it has been a while. I've gone through a lot, surprisingly, because it seemed so simple. Back when I did, when I first tried to book the test, I just went to the site. There was a button to request it in Welsh, and then it just goes downhill from there. I need to like keep asking them if they are doing it, if they are preparing the test. Let me see. How can I show you the email without revealing too much personal information? Give me 1 second, chat, because I do want to keep my stuff private. There we go. Okay. So I've I've gone through a lot of stages. There was a bit because I clicked that button a bit too early, and they sent me an email saying, well, okay, so if you want to do the test, please let us know and we'll start preparing it. And then I was like, I want to do it in January. So because they say they need 12 weeks, which is 3 months to prepare the test. I told them in early October, I want to do it in January. Can you prepare it now? I heard nothing. So in November, I started calling them every week. And every time they'd be like, oh, we will tell the backend people to like escalate the case and work on your booking. And also, I think the first guy I called didn't manage to get me a lot of details. The second person said, basically, they clarified the process. So I assumed how they do it is, I tell them I want to do the test, I book a date, and they prepare the test, which makes sense, right, chat? I think that makes sense. I assume that's how it works. But apparently, according to that guy, I tell them I want to do the test, and then they prepare the test, they send it to Cardiff, and then I can book the test. So that's kind of annoying, but if that is true, that's fine. I can wait for that. And then the third person I called, I did it 3 times in over 3 weeks. The third person said unequivocally, yes, we are preparing it according to the system, but they're only like a customer service person. They don't read, because it's a private company, right? If you didn't know, the citizenship test, I hate this word, citizenship. Citizenship. The test is administered by a private company, because obviously. So the customer service people don't really know the details of what's going on. So that's kind of pointless. But they say the system says it was going on. And then I got this email 10 days ago saying, yeah, your request is in progress. So that is all I know about this citizenship test. I hope that means it'll be okay, because initially I was like, I've got heaps of time. I don't mind taking some time. I mean, I'm not done studying anyway, so I can take some time. You can take your time and make the test, even if you need 3 months. But it is getting increasingly urgent, because as I said, I'm reaching settlement in April. I'm looking to do the test. I'm looking to apply for settlement in March, which is actually in like 4 months. So yeah, if they start prepping 10 days ago, that is bad. That means I will have like very little time to get it done. I need to like make sure I pass and everything. And but hopefully what the person on the phone told me was true, and hopefully the fact is that they have been preparing since I told them. Oh, actually, no. Oh, I think. No, hold on. Let's read this again. Your request is in progress from now. From now. So, there is a good chance they started preparing 10 days ago. Which means, I don't think it's actually going to take them 3 months to translate a bloody test of 24 questions into Welsh. But I think the worst case scenario might be true. They started 10 days ago. That means, at the latest, I would be doing it in late February, which is probably fine. I still have time. But hopefully they have been preparing a bit earlier, because the last time I called them, they did say, oh yeah, it shows that it is in progress. I don't know. What do you think, chat? What do you think? I'm going to catch up and then tell me what you think about this situation. My friend's partner is on a skilled worker visa, so close to getting ILR. The time she was here for uni not counting is ridiculous, and the new potential changes are very worrying. Yeah, very worrying. Especially, I think the main thing people have gripes with is not the requirements, but the fact that they can change the requirements anytime they want, right? Because I've been here for almost 5 years. In fact, I have a spreadsheet telling me that I have been on this visa for, let me tell you the literal percentage, 92.57% of the time required. And they can just change it anytime they want, apparently. So if they like, they could be like, oh no, you're never getting it, or whatever. And that is extremely unfair, I think. What do you think? Let me know. And yeah, I'm lucky because the changes don't really concern me that much. Despite the fact that I want to do it in Welsh, I do have the required level in Welsh. So I guess I do speak Welsh more than most. Not most, but like I speak Welsh better than a lot of Hong Kong people speak English. So I'm quite privileged in that situation. I know a lot of people who are genuinely worried. Some of them have done the B1 exam, and they have to redo it. They didn't even mention Welsh. Of course they didn't. They never think about it. That's what I made the short video about.